to Japan!
Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. My family came all the way from France to Korea for my wedding and we thought, why not add some adventure? So we decided to head to Japan together for the first time, and since my parents have never been, we were ready to explore. First, I met up with my mom and sister at the airport in Seoul, and then we all reunited with my dad in Tokyo. As soon as we stepped into the city, my parents were a bit taken aback by the crowds. It was super busy, a bit overwhelming at times, and let's be honest, it was hot. But the good thing is that there's so many little streets where you can just get lost and walk around, and it's way less intense than the busy streets, so we enjoyed those way more. In Tokyo as well as in Kyoto, I think Kyoto was definitely our favorite. The vibes were more of this little city, everything was cuter. It was just very enjoyable to walk around and stuff. As you can notice though, I did not really film as a vlog because I was just busy enjoying, so I just recorded everything that I found pretty. That's why we only have the b-rolls and we didn't spend too much time like talking to the camera, but it was really such a good time. We just enjoy walking around and enjoying the views, you know. To get around, we mostly took the train, and I didn't remember how much of a staple that was for the country, but honestly the train experience was really enjoyable because most of the lines we took were outside, so we could actually visit a lot of the city while being comfortably sitting in the train with AC. It was just a fun experience to be able to sit in the front and just look at everything around you without suffering from the heat outside. That was definitely a plus. The subway is really clean, it goes everywhere, people are very respectful of the seat attribution. You also have different kind of train you can take. We personally took Suica card, so I don't exactly know in Tokyo what's the difference between the different lines. However, there is different lines over there, and then you also have specific trains, for example the one going from Kamakura to Enoshima, which is very cute and it's like an attraction in itself, or even very specific train going back into the city, for example from Nara to Kyoto. And what's funny is that even if it's crowded, you are going to hear a pin drop. However, we had to take the Shinkansen from Tokyo to Kyoto, right? And that was a bit of a letdown. We had a lot of expectation, but it was super difficult to get the tickets for some reason. There was no plug on board and no way to get food, so it was a bit uncomfortable and we starved a little bit. And yeah, considering the price of the whole thing, it was a bit, not that great. Now, when you think of Japan, the first thing that comes to mind, at least to mine for sure, is all the beautiful temples and traditional sites. We enjoyed every moment of it. My parents were blown away. Some temples are in these stunning locations where the views alone are worth the visit, but not everywhere is quiet and serene. Some places get really crowded, like the bamboo forest in Arashiyama, for example. I had been wanting to visit there since 2009, but when we finally got there, it was packed with people. Don't get me wrong, it was gorgeous, but if you're hoping for a calm, peaceful moment, it's probably not the best spot. The town around it seemed very cute though, but we didn't have time to explore much and we were overwhelmed by the crowd, the people, the heat, all of it. We were like, we need to go. And so we went to the Golden Pavilion in Kyoto, which was absolutely stunning. My dad was really impressed by the whole atmosphere. He said it felt magical. The Kiyomizu-dera temple was also absolutely gorgeous. I went there with my in-laws 2 years ago, and when we went there actually it started to snow like a snowstorm. It was so pretty, and I can attest now that it's as pretty with the snow than it is with the sun blazing. And that's what I'm saying when I talk about temples with a view. This view of Kyoto is absolutely mind-blowing. And this red of the temple contrasting with the blue of the sky and the white of the clouds. I am not an artist, but I can say I appreciated every moment of it. But personally, the place that really blew me away was the Fushimi Inari shrine. Honestly, when I was looking at the pictures on Instagram and stuff, I was like, oh my god, those are just red doors. Let's calm down. Why is it so overrated? There's so many people. It's overcrowded. I don't want to go there. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to just walk around. We did the bamboo already. We know what it's like. Let's not go. I couldn't have been more wrong. What we did was wait for the end of the day, so the sunset time kind of, around 5 p.m. to have a bit of the sun as well as the night view. Honestly, it was way bigger than I thought it would be, way more impressive than I thought it would be as well. I recommend this 100%. I also didn't expect this to be all around the mountains. I thought it would be just 1 or 2 lines of this where the tourists can go and take their pictures, but it's actually a whole hike that you do in the mountain. There's still a lot of people, even if it was the end of the day, but because it's open 24/7 anyway, you can just at some point find a time when there's nobody around you, so you can just enjoy. And when you do the hike and go up the mountain, then you can also have an amazing view of the city. Honestly, altogether a very unforgettable experience, and even if it wasn't easy, it was worth it. I'm saying it wasn't easy because the heat, girl, the heat. So honestly, to me, if there is 2 things to do in Kyoto, is this Fushimi Inari shrine and the Kiyomizu-dera temple. Love it, cannot recommend it enough. Please go. Now, during our trip, we also did 2 day trips. One was from Tokyo to Kamakura and Enoshima. So Kamakura was to see the big Buddha. It's basically just a big Buddha, and there's not a lot to see, to be fair. Just the location of the Buddha and just the size of the whole thing is pretty impressive, but there's nothing much to do around. We just like walk a bit. I came to see this Buddha before, but this time I went inside. There's nothing much inside, let's not lie. It's pretty cool. It's only 5 cents, so why not? There's nothing much to do, so we didn't stay that long, but it's still very pretty. Then we went to a very beautiful temple with a fantastic view of both the city and the beach. We walked around, took in the breeze, and we just enjoyed the scenery, you know. It was very zen. My parents relaxed in the shadows. Everybody liked it. It was at our pace, not very fast, just taking everything in. Enjoyable moment, recommend. Then the beach was nearby, so we dipped our toe in the water for a bit, which was perfect temperature, might I add. I kind of regretted not having my swimsuit because even though the waves were a little wild, yeah, it would have been fun to dive in. But no, we just stay on the beach for a bit and we spent some time wandering around the neighborhood right next door, and there was honestly such stunning houses. I didn't understand. Probably a wealthy area, I'm not quite sure. However, the level of the houses we did not really comprehend, but we were there for it. Honestly, bravo. I personally follow Sunday Love that lives in Kamakura, and I could understand why she would love the city that much. Coming from Tokyo especially, I feel like the vibe of Kamakura would be more my style, more of a beach town. Everybody seems more relaxed. It's more my vibes. It's cute, I understand, I get it, I get the vision. Then we took the little train I was mentioning before, the Enoden line going to Enoshima. Honestly amazing. It's basically a little island. You can walk to the island, and the walk in itself is so gorgeous. You have some views of the Fujisan over there in the horizon. Basically, it's an island, it's a mountain, you have to climb. We did climb, but because Japan is Japan, they also have escalators for you, because why not? Japan would have escalators up a mountain. Why not? So we used the escalator for the last 2 quote-unquote floors, and once we reached the top, the view was totally worth it. We could see Fuji, the weather was perfect. It really felt amazing to be there at that moment, and it was definitely a highlight of the whole trip was this day in Kamakura and Enoshima. We just had an amazing time. Now, our second day trip was from Kyoto to Nara, where you can see all the deer roaming freely around the city. It's honestly very interesting to watch, let's say. They couldn't care less about people. They're super hungry, they're a little aggressive, they do not fear human at all, and all they want is food. If you don't have any, they'll make it clear you need to either feed them or get out of their way, you know?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
They didn't hesitate to bite both my sister and my mom to get what they wanted, you know? So be careful when you get there. Those are not pets, clearly. They're here for a reason, and that reason is the cake in your hand, okay? It could also be your map. Regardless, they're gonna eat something. Now, despite the chaos, we had a lot of fun just walking around. It was pretty hot by then, so we were getting tired, but it was interesting to observe everything. We mostly just fed the deer and took in the sights. We didn't make it all the way to the temple, because by this point we were wiped out and we just wanted to get back to the air conditioning. Plus, we were a bit envious of the deer lounging in the shade and cooling off by the water, so we decided to call it a day and head back to the hotel. The last big thing we did was the TeamLab exhibition. That was my absolute must. I'd been saying that if I go to Tokyo, I have to do this. And let me tell you, it did not disappoint. I had been waiting years to visit, and everyone in my family was blown away by the quality of the exhibition. It was super interactive and fun. Everything from the lights to the texture, the water, the way things felt when you touched them. It was just all mind-blowing. There were all of these different rooms, and the coolest part is you get to walk through them barefoot, which makes the experience even more immersive. And one of our favorite parts was this room filled with bubbles. You could just play around. It's such a great time for everyone, whether you're with family, kids, even by yourself, honestly. It's perfect for any age. But the real standout was the flower room. You could basically lie down there and it feels like the entire space is moving around you, even though you're totally still. It was a bit freaky, super trippy, but in the best way. We all loved it. My parents took a little nap over there as well. And the last exhibit was also the room filled with flower, the color, the atmosphere. Honestly, the whole thing, 10 out of 10, amazing, absolutely recommended. For my parents, it was even their favorite experience of the entire trip. Honestly, same for me. 100% worth the wait, the price, and the hype. And if you're in Tokyo, you have to check it out. Now, let's not kid ourselves and pretend we didn't go to Japan for the food. Alright, because Japan and food, that goes hand in hand, right? It's how I kind of convinced my mom to come along, because she's a huge sushi fan, a French sushi fan. She never had any other sushi than French sushi, and I've been telling her for years, if you haven't had sushi in Japan, you haven't had sushi. Now she's fully converted, she gets it. We went to this very fun sushi restaurant that is kind of a branch, I guess. There's a lot in the city. There was one right next to our hotel, so we ended up just eating there every dinner because amazing, cheap, good quality, fun experience to get the food, all of it amazing. I will put the name somewhere. It was heaven for everybody involved. He now knows what is a sushi, you know? And of course we tried other food as well, but sushi remained the favorite. One of the most fun meal we had was in Kamakura, in this cozy little spot. I'll link the restaurant below because the lady who runs it was such a blast. She spoke a bit of English, but she mostly stuck to Japanese to make it more of an immersive experience, I guess. She even had us cook our own okonomiyaki and yakisoba right at the table. But she helped us to make sure we got what we wanted in the end, but she pushed us to actually try and cook it ourselves. Hey, bravo! It was really fun, it was really good, and honestly, food in Japan just hits different, you know, it's on another level. But once we got to Kyoto, they also discovered the convenience store food culture, and they just fell in love. At some point, we were eating almost all of our meal from the convenience store. Bentos, snacks, desserts, everything. My parents got hooked. We found ourselves skipping restaurant just to eat there at the convenience store every night next to the hotel. Perfection. Honestly, I was a little nervous about gaining too much weight, especially with my wedding dress and after party dress in mind, but because we walked so much, it balanced out perfectly, so I have no regrets, you know? Because I came before, I'm just happy that they enjoyed everything. Me, I just had fun revisiting everything, eating all I had to eat, and ultimately, a really great experience. I'm not sure if you're gonna be here until the end, because I don't know how interesting it was for you guys. However, we had a great time, and I'm just happy I could share a bit of this amazing 6 days with you guys. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.